Sunday the 28th of July, going to cut some more winter barley, feed barley. That's the plan anyway.
When I wake up, well I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. If I get back, yeah I know I'm gonna be the man who's the man.
Jack has just arrived, he is carting in. I just went with him for a load there. Up. Just went with him for a load just to make sure he was handy enough and capable enough to let him crack on with it. So I'm going to go along the road to yard 3 where Kev is baling. We've made a fair dent in here already. It's only about 15 hectares, so another few hours yet and we'll be done. Go up here, fetch the forklift and the bale spike, and then we're heading off to that field there. There's a little bit left to bale. Kev's in there just now. I think he's just about finished the long rounds and then he's just got those short rounds to do. Right, let's start shifting bales. You can go out for a spin, Doug. I am away tomorrow, unfortunately, at a funeral, but if I at least get all the bales off of any tram lines, Kev might get subsoiling tomorrow. Get this ground ready for putting some OSR into. Basically, the sooner we get the OSR in, the better. A few hours later, see what I've done, I've just chucked them into piles. So when we come down here in a trailer, it's a lot quicker to load them. 2 or 3 heaps will fill a trailer, and then they're going away up to the yard up there. It's been a productive day. We didn't get going till 11 o'clock or so with baling and combining and whatnot, but since then it's been a very productive day. Duncan Jack at yard 1 combining, just about finished. Dad's at yard 1 running the grain dryer and moving some grain about. I'm at yard 3 here shifting bales about. Kev's at yard 4 baling. He should get that finished tonight. Job done, a wee small one to finish. I'll just put it in this shed here. There's no point in taking that away up to the yard. Kev must be done. Get this subsoiled tomorrow. Get those bales off tomorrow, hopefully. Well, depending if we go combining or not. And we might get sowing on Tuesday. It's Sunday today. They're slobbering all over Gate Lady's car. Oh, jeez. Oh, what a mess.
Oh, keep it. Flicks everywhere.
Oh, Betty. Problem solved. Such a good angle. There's just that. It's the next morning. Dad has finished drying all of what we combined yesterday. The last of it's coming off just now. He shifted most of it down into the bottom shed, into the feed store. That's seed. Hopefully that'll get collected fairly soon. The next crop we're into is another seed barley, but a different variety. So we need to get all that area cleared, swept up, and then the next seed can fall out over there. Once the grain dryer's finished, it'll need a full clean down. Because we're going to seed, we don't want any contamination. Dunk is currently blowing down the whole combine. Same idea, no contamination, going on to a seed crop next. That is TARDIS seed barley. That is Mountain feed barley. We had some TARDIS feed barley as well. And the next crop we're into is Caravel seed barley. Right, I've just been away. Dad has started combining seed barley, so I'm going to jump in a tractor, swap with Kev. Kev's going to head out baling. Anyway, it's about 2 o'clock now. Last time you saw me was about 9:30. So next time you see me, I'll be in a tractor. See you there. Kev's just on his way back now with a load. I'm going to swap with him. He's going to head out in the Fett and go baling with the McHale, which has been working sweet as a nut. Grain dry here. Since it's seed, hot air temperature set to 60 degrees max. So there's 2 burners and they'll not go onto the high flame up to kind of 90 degrees because that can kill the germination. in the crop. And with this being seed, i.e. those grains will be replanted into the ground, they need to be able to germinate. Feed crops, that's not a problem, that's not a thing you need to worry about. So you can crank it up to 90 degrees, you can dry it a lot quicker. I'll just get the tester out and see what moisture we're dealing with there. Off the end rig on a seed field that hasn't been sprayed, so I'm not too hopeful. Here's Kev there. 25. Once we're off the end rig, that should drop down to the teens. Still quite a few greens in there. There'll still be, I think, maybe half a load off the end rig, and then we'll be into the body where those greens should mostly disappear. And here we are. I tell you what, it doesn't look good from this angle, but it looks even worse from this angle. I wish I hadn't put the drone up. Everyone's got fields like this. Maybe it'll make some other people with some awful fields as well feel a little bit better. I think in a normal year, if I'd shown you this, feel a hint of embarrassment. But the back end we had, the winter we've had, we've all got a field like this just about. Just going to test some of this now because we are off the end rig and it should be a good bit better. 19.1. It's improved, but it's still not great, is it? There's rain due to come Thursday. It's Monday today, but if we get that cut, I'll need a wee while for the straw to sit, so we'd like to get that, maybe get that done on Wednesday. Get the straw baled at least before the rain comes. Then it's just a case of shifting bales, which we can do in the rain. 19.1, not great, but it allows us to get other jobs done sooner rather than the rain coming and slowing us down, so we'll just crack on. Delivery! It's tea time. Hey Betty, who's the hat? Who's the hat? Yeah, come to me. See you in the morning. Good morning. An absolute corker. Beautiful. This morning's plan of action, shift bales at yard 4 so we can get it cleared, get it sprayed off and get some OSR into it. Grain dryer's flat out. There's enough grain on there, 2 batches will go through the dryer while we're away. Dad's obviously the forklift's away so we can't heat this up anymore. But because it's seed, it's quite slow in drying and it's quite wet, so 2 batches will take us till afternoon probably. That TARDIS seed barley, I think they might be coming this afternoon to pick some of that up, so we need to get back here with the forklift this afternoon. Low loader's off to shift some bales. Just had a bit of net wrapped around that rotor, so we've got that cleared. Wasn't actually too bad. I just used an O-ring pick there and then cut it with some shears. I'll get Kev to shift that plough just so we can fill in this bit of the shed first before we go round the corner. Kev's just pointed out that without a weight, won't be able to shift that plough. Actually, the topper's there. First load in, Kev's got the plough there shifted with the mower on the front. It worked a treat. There's probably quite a few people that head out with a mower in front of the plough, ploughing down grass. Just put a bit of wood there where the ramp starts because there's about 1 foot of bale overhanging, so I've put a block of wood in just to catch the last edge. A little bit more sturdy. We'll make a wedge at some point. Right, Kev's off with this trailer. I've just checked all the lights are working fine, which they are. 3 different bale types here. Nice golden winter barley straw, fresh this year. That is off the McHale V6 760, our new one. Those 2 rows of bales, they are off the old class variant 360, and then those bales all the way around, they are off a McHale F5500, I think, which is a fixed chamber baler, so there's a good bit less straw in these bales than there is in the class bales, and these McHale bales, they're both variable chambers. They look like they stack really nice, and they do, because there's less weight, so the bottom bales are not getting squashed as much. Whereas these ones, you can see those bales have been squashed a fair bit because there's a lot of weight above them, which will probably the same thing will happen to these ones. But there's more straw in those bales. That's better. I've taken those two dodgy rows out and filled them in again. They're all sitting there. I'll just use them first because there's still cattle in that shed to bed. I just did some rough fag packet maths, and if we had to buy in all this straw I put £130 as the price. Wouldn't pay that at this time of year, but I think prices will be more than that through the winter, so call it 130. £34,000 worth of bales we'd have to buy in. Feast time. Just going to keep going until any seed lorries arrive, because once they start arriving, we don't have both forklifts to shift bales at both ends. So that must be the 8th load next, which is 220 bales, something like that, 222 bales. You can shift a fair amount of bales when you've got 2 trailers and a forklift at each end and a man in each. You can load yourself at each end, but likes of here, I've got half the trailer unloaded by the time Uncle Kev's got all their straps rolled up and back in the box. So scrap everything I've just said. We're going combining. There's a wheat lorry just arrived. Okay, we're just going to get this field finished. Only been here for 2-3 hours. Here over to the trees there, and then 3 woods right here, and that's that. All the winter barley done. You'll be interested to know the yield on this field. I'm not interested to know.
When I'm lonely, well I know I'm gonna be the man who's lonely without you. And when I'm dreaming,
Winter barley, done. Once I've totted up all the numbers, I'll let you know the average yields across all the winter barley. We're going to go and try some OSR. We've got one field of OSR that might go.
dream about the time when I'm with you. When I go out, well I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. And when I come home, yes I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home with you. I'm gonna be the man who's coming home with you.
Nip to the weighbridge, get a tear, because we're weighing all this is all up of yard 3. So for any profit or loss split, we need to know exactly how much weight comes off of this, what the yield is. There we go, that's my tear, 13 tonnes, 620 kilos. This was sprayed just shy of 3 weeks ago. Combine makes it 9.4%, moisture meter makes it 8.8% or something like that. Yeah, foot down, let's get it cut, let's get it in the shed. Be interesting what this yields. Thick crop, but the lack of sunshine over the last 2 months, I suspect will have hampered it a bit. Which is a shame because we got all the OSR established really well. It looked fantastic all year. I think it's just going to be missing that last couple months where the sunshine was required to fill out the pods and create some substantial yield. We're going to change our approach to cultivating the ground after this crop. We're going to plough it. The reason being because it's so wet in the back end, we didn't get on with sprays to take out volunteer barley. So through it all, it's quite a bit of barley. Normally we'd disc this ground, let it sit for a little bit, disc it again, sow it with wheat. But we also didn't get some of that spray done last time on the OSR, and that wheat ground is just rife with so much barley through it because we didn't get the sprays on to kill out the volunteer barley. So we're going to plough this ground to get that barley down under, stop it chitting. Hopefully the OSR we get in the ground this year will be a better back end and we'll get all our sprays on to take out the volunteer barley and just clean it up. Once I've got a first load in, I'll come back and check all the seal here. Because with OSR being so small, any wee gap or hole or 2 surfaces that have got a wee kink in them maybe, the OSR finds those holes. You got a good view? You do now. Huh. Right, it's coming off there quite well. one load in. All those wee greens and grey things you can see, that's Sticky Willy. Ignoring that, the OSR looks pretty good. There's definitely a bit less barley coming through in the body of the field than there is the end rig. The end rig was pretty heavy in barley. Add mix 2% or so and you're alright. Above that and you'll get penalties, i.e. 2% of something that isn't OSR. The yard over there at yard 3, there's a business there called Summer Harvest, and they press all of this and they make salad dressings and nice things out of the OSR, so this won't leave farm. Goes to yard 3 to get dried and then it's stored there and used there all year. If you're ever in the farm shop, we sell Summer Harvest in the farm shop, so have a look for it. Bit of a squeeze, reversing out there around the corner. Only took one shunt. I've got 2 tractors now. Dad's just turning up. There he is, with a fuel bowser. We'll get them both filled up because the tank at home at yard 1, it's empty. We'll get the bowser down the middle, get that filled up, then the bowser can head off home again. Combine will need diesel, but it'll finish off this field and then we've got nothing to cut for a week and a half, so we can deal with that later. That tractor's full up. Just finishing off this one. I don't know how much we've got left in here. Half a tank. I say it every time, but that Bowser's awesome. Next load in. I've just opened the door a tiny bit because there's a few obstacles and I didn't know where I was. The combine's shifting at a fairly slow pace. The tractor makes it 2.3k, and I'm hoping that's because there's so much oilseed rape the combine has to process, it can't go any faster. I am quite hopeful about this crop. All the OSR, it's all year looked well, so fingers crossed. Gate lady's nabbed my Defender. I will allow it as she's delivered my tea. What are we on tonight? Oh, pasta and meatballs, love it. One of my favourites. One more load, that'll be us, job done. That was a lucky one. My cows have managed to open this gate. Thankfully there's a gate on the other side, which has stopped them going into the neighbour's field. We're shifting all these cattle this morning. I've just opened that gate. Good! 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 One of them will twig when the gate's open. That heifer's twigged. Straight through. Oh, you stupid idiots. Half of them have missed the gate. Yeah, bonkers. I need to shift these creek feeders. Dunk's just away with a low loader. We're shifting bales, so once we've finished shifting bales, we'll get those creek feeders. Here's Dad's grain dryer book. Notes of all the batches that go through the grain dryer, where they've come from, moisture percentage, condition, and at the start of this harvest he's put very wet autumn and winter, late spring, dull summer. That's not a good start to writing your yield lists and all that. Harvest 22, good back end, and spring, very dry summer. It's the next morning, more bales. We're getting there. 2 bays left to fill. I think there's probably now 3 loads to come up from the field. That's 3 bays filled. That'll be about 900 bales, and there are 600 to go. Definitely need to make sure these front row are as square as can be, because I'm going to be looking at them for months and months. Each bay is basically 4 by 4 by 16 deep, plus those ones on the top. Just done the maths, 316 per bay. Job done, that is all the bales shifted for now. There's some bales back at yard 1, but we've sold them. They're just going straight off the field. We'll need about another 500 bales to fill this. Oilseed rape being tiny little balls, like ball bearings, it just flows like nothing else. It's like water. It is a tight squeeze in here, but it fits. Normally we do this with the 12-ton trailers, but you get a lot more in those ones. and you tip less often. Oh, thankfully a few days later and we have sunshine. We have blue skies. Done. We're going to be shifting now to yard 2. Nothing ready to cut yet, but that's where we're cutting next. So drop the header off, get the combine back up to yard 2. Just make sure and lock this off. Those wee bushes are just to stop the header sliding back and forward. Gives you a bit of leeway for putting it on, but takes out the slop of driving it. Final yield is in for that field of OSR. Mediocre. 3.8 tonnes a hectare. We got everything right. We got it established really well, as best we have for quite a number of years, to be honest. All the OSR are established brilliantly. Just the weather. Bad weather at flowering, lack of sunshine when the pods have been filling out. Can't do anything else. What a fantastic night. Hey Pooch, you've had a good day. Someone said, I wonder how many miles this dog covers in a day. I need to get a tracker for her. But I tell you what, a lot. Another couple of loads and that'll be perfect for a lorry. Lorry just parked down the middle, come up in the morning with a forklift. Won't take long to load that. Stay. Go in. Last thing, I need to check the subsoiler legs. I can't quite remember if they got done through the winter. Damn, no they didn't. I think we've got a set we should do. Damn it. It's not a big job, but would have gone subsoiling in the morning. We have a set, thankfully. Good morning. Just shifting these creek feeders. 3 creek feeders on the move. I prefer the Port-Equip one because the lid on it has got a much bigger lip. So if you see the lip on those, that lip there, it's quite shallow. So the cows, when they rub up against it, they flick it open sometimes. There is a bit where you can put a bolt to bolt it shut, but it just gets rusty and you never get it off when you're trying to fill it. And we just need to negotiate all these cattle. Today we're going to repair a bit of winter damage that was caused by the flooding. Effectively there's a 2 metre strip down the side of a winter barley field which all the topsoil was washed away from during the biblical rains during the winter we've just had. Yep, fair bit of water. The coos won't be getting to that grass anyway. Flippin' heck. So Dunk's going to chuck a 12-ton trailer on, the digger's here already, he's just going to take a few loads back and forward down there. Dunk's working away there, just got a few cattle to bed. That's not good. One of the guides, the bushes and the boom there's come out. They're meant to sit like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But the bottom ones, I think there must have been one falling out already because there's only one in there. Damn. Come back to that, I need to push out these bales before the cattle rip them to shreds with the net on them. Hey beast, hey! When you go? When you go? When you go? You bandit. Hey, hey! You little bandit, on you go. That's a bit gubbed, isn't it? I'm just booming in with a bit of force down on the ground, so the extension of the boom there is pushing up on the top wear pads, so there's no metal on metal friction. See the slop in that now?
Thank you for calling Scott Agri Repairs.
Hi there, hi, it's Crawford here at Gloagburn. I've lost one of the wear pads on the bottom of the boom of my older forklift. I was wondering if you had those parts in stock. Okay, cheers, bye bye. They're having computer problems, so it's going to phone me back in half an hour. I'm hoping they've got them in stock. They should do it, it's a wearing part that's replaceable semi-regularly. Dunk's just about got a load there. This subsoiler, I need to change the shoes on it. I don't want to take the baler off the fen, but I don't think this forklift's going to lift it. I want to get one of those implement lifters for the front of the forklift, or make one. I saw one pop up online, I think it was made by, was it Agri-Weld? Something like that, but it looks really smart. It's a bit unconventional, but I think it'll get me out here. It is off the ground. These shoes are just held on by one bolt at the back there, which on this side, you're not going to get a spanner on that anyway. Yeah, the wear pad, yep. Well, if there is two, I'm missing both. Alright, okay. Could you order in another one? Okay, perfect. Yeah, fine. Okay, cheers. Right, bye bye. They've got one in stock, one's getting ordered in for tomorrow for the forklift on the wear pads. This barley is going into that lorry that's just arrived, Seacliff, off the Dodds Seed. That's the way to do it. Give me the reader. 28.6 we're shooting for. Oh, I overshot by 60 kilo. Not bad. Lorry loaded. That's his last load for the weekend. He's away to Truck Festival Ingleson. Kev's had a wee breakdown here, so there's a plastic joint onto an aluminium pipe. We think that must be kind of crimped into the aluminium. That goes in there and that all joins up. We're taking this bit out. That pipe will thread on there, so if we can make it seal, maybe put a doughty washer in there or something, an O-ring, or we might be able to make it work in a pinch, because tank's full. I have given Steve from Hardy a message to get the replacement bit, but if we can get that going in a pinch, hopefully. Kev's just going to turn it on, get the pressure up. It's not mega pressure it's under, so. Seems to be holding liquid. It's going to have to do for now. It's a little drip. I think we might just make that work so we can get the field done. Is it working? Is it not? It's, yeah, we're going to have to try it. Currently don't have parts. We need to get the tank emptied. We need to get the field sprayed, so it's if it doesn't get any worse, it's fine. But it could quite easily get significantly worse very quickly if the fitting blows off. Abandoned ship. I'm going to nip to Dundee and get the part for that, because if it does blow off, I might get two of them actually. If it does blow off, then we're in a little bit of a pickle. Got my part. I've also picked up some nozzle filters, some nozzle tips. I'm going to refresh all of them on the sprayer, because when you're putting tens of thousands of pounds worth of spray through your machine, you're as well spending £200 putting it on right. Because at the end of the day, they are plastic and they do wear out. There's not that much kicking about in the yard at the moment. Our slight botch job has obviously worked for now, but I'll give him the part in case it goes bang again. And at least he doesn't need to come all the way back to yard one for getting sorted. Kev's got the parts now. He managed to get the spraying finished, which is good. So this barley stubble, this is going into OSR. We've sprayed it off because there's quite a bit of weeds coming through. Did a bit of drainage, some serious drainage probably 2 seasons ago, maybe 3, but this whole area here we didn't used to crop, which resulted in a lot of different weed growth and whatnot throughout it. So once we took it back into rotation, it's quite a dirty bit at the moment. Just take a few years of spraying it off and to try and sort out the weed problem. So go and check how Dunk's getting on with filling in the hole. So there's a burn in there. What's happened, the water's broke through somewhere. Here you can see it's about 1 metre, in places 2 metres wide, but it's just stripped all the topsoil, gone. So that's where Dunk's been bringing in these loads, and we'll get that all filled back in, bring it up to level. I mean, that's a foot of topsoil gone, vanished. It's all right stuff. There's a few stones and whatnot through it, but it's better than currently what's in there. Nothing. Once we've shifted all the loads we're needing, we'll just have to bring the digger down here and level all this off. Dunk's just tipping half a load and then dumping the next half load there, so that must be his 4th load. He might even be getting 3 tips out of that. Perfect. Fine, Dunk should get all that enough shifted today anyway, and then we'll shift the digger down in the morning, level it off, and then it's good to go. The damage the water does, unbelievable. If it gets moving, water lying, it's not good for crops obviously and soil structure, but if it's moving, if it's flowing across a field, that's when you can lose some, cut big trenches in your fields. There's so much of that through the winter, just getting bits repaired now really. Back to the subsoiler. Kev's heading out baling, finish off the last of it for now. I've got wear plates that go on there, but missing the bolts, so I need to order some. And this is cast. So I did think about just welding them on. Good morning. Digger time. This soil dunk brought down yesterday, I'm just going to level that off. Just dropped off the low loader, it can stay in the field. Dunks away to top some margins. I'm going to sit in the digger for, won't take too long, a couple of hours maybe. Hello, it's 2 days later. You saw me make a start to this, and 5 minutes after I made a start, I was in my bed. I went down with something, I don't know what it was. Anyway, I'm fine now. Kev got all this finished off, got the digger shifted, so that's all now ready to go. We'll get over it with a disc just to give it a finishing level off. We'll get OSR that's going into here soon. Oh, another job for that digger. Brilliant, brilliant. Right, we've got these two new bushes for the bottom of the boom there, like the top. These will just remove the metal on metal wear. So instead of this boom sliding on the sleeve of the steel, it's not steel on steel, it's steel on polymer on steel. So the steel doesn't wear, this wears. Right, been to fetch more bits, needing a bit of Loctite, plenty washers. Otherwise that bolt comes all the way through and protrudes the wearing surface, so you'd have the bolt head wearing against the bottom of the boom there. I'm just putting a bit of pressure downwards to lift the section of the boom up, so I've clearance in there to get these bushes in. There's still quite a bit of slop in there, which is probably because the top set are fairly worn. They don't seem too bad, though. They've got shims in them as well. Dab of Loctite. Right. Right, that's one pad in. Next one should just slip in there. Is that the right way around? Another wee dribble of Loctite. There we go, voila! 2 new bushes in there. Forklift window here is peeling off. Gonna reseal that. We made a slight attempt here. We just drove right into the middle field with the combine to see what kind of moisture we were messing with, but it was still about 18%, so we didn't bother. It is well premature to when it is due to be done, but we had nothing else to do. The combine was sitting right next to it. Thought, nah, let's go and try it. Oh, my aerial! Yeah, be careful of my aerial! Oh! That's gone. Just doing a wee bit of power washing on the old Defender. Needs to be clean for an important occasion. Don't worry, I'm not going under there. But from the side you get a lot more done. 2 new tyres coming for the front tomorrow. Polishing a Defender is like putting makeup on a pig. Waste of time. Some amount of rubbish has come off that Defender. As of tomorrow morning, I'm away for a week. So, tomorrow we're going to be shifting bales. Well, I'm not. So I'm just shifting the low loader to yard 3. And where am I disappearing to for a week? At the start of harvest. The clue's probably in the title of the video. Defender's getting some new shoes at the moment. I'm in at Salt Tire. And I got a cup of tea while I wait. Bliss. There we go. Treated the old girl to some fresh new tyres. Apologies for the lack of videos for the last wee while. I don't know when they'll be back. Soonish. I mean, slightly busy. See you soon.
How lucky are we? It's been a hell of
I teased a new Bandit drink. Well, let's go and pick it up. We're back. Bandit Stout. Oh, you beauty. Look at that. Gate Lady's artwork there and there. We are back at Wasted Degrees. They're just canning up some of the Bandit Stout. I've still to taste it. We're waiting for a dud can, but it's only been one in the whole process. How many cans left a can? 500 or so cans left to go of about 3,500. Bit less than the lager. I guess just less people drink stout, but there's not a huge amount. 4 40ml cans, bigger cans. So I think there's about 250 odd cases. Once they're gone, they're gone. Gate Lady's artwork came out well. Just as I said, we've had a dud. Here we go. My first taste. Remember, regardless of outcome, I'm going to say it's amazing. Oh, that is good. Yeah, love it. Oh. I'm obviously not going to drink all of that because I'm driving home, but oh, beautiful. Right, Jack he's been in charge of sorting kind of all this out.
Great, thank you, yes.
So how's it been going making the stout?
It's gone really well, yeah. It's been a good few weeks now, and we check in on the progress of it every other day just to make sure that temperatures are right, pressures are going in the right direction, and therefore carbonation hits the level that we want it to get to. And then otherwise we're checking in on flavour, so we're sampling it at different points in its evolution. So early on where it's thick, hazy, it's partway through its fermentation, you want to check it for flavour notes. The body of the beer evolves over time as that finishes fermenting, and so you're moving from more sugary mouthfeel to something that's a bit lighter, a bit more creamy. And then of course, moving into today when we're packaging, we want to chill that tank right the way down. So as you'll see at the moment, there's a thermometer over on the tank, so we're in tank number 2, and we're hovering at a couple of degrees Celsius. The colder the beer is when we're packaging, the better. From a physics perspective, we are ensuring that the CO2 that has carbonated the beer stays in the liquid, so we've dissolved the CO2 into the liquid, and the colder the beer is, the less likely that gas is going to come out of the beer, or out of suspension as we would say, because what that would mean is by the time that the pipe leads to the canning line, we would just be canning froth. So we're obviously duty bound to make sure that what we say is in the can is actually in the can in terms of liquid and alcohol. So super chilly beer, and we're plumbed in right to the end of the canning line proper. So we are effectively feeding that carbonated, really, really cold liquid straight into the canning line. It's being automatically fed with empty cans at the start of the process. So these cans are manufactured at the closest factory to the brewery in Carlisle, shipped up here empty. We've got a chimney stack on top of the canning line which holds the lids. And just before the cans get to being filled up with the beer, they have a date printed on the underside of the can just here. So you've got a proximity sensor that will recognise when the cans pass across that, and the printer will fire a date on the underside. And the canning line we're filling 2 by 2, so you'll see 2 narrow nozzles on the left. They are purging or emptying the can of oxygen and replacing that with CO2, because we want to package onto a more stable gas, one that's not going to cause the beer to go off over time. And then the 2 chunky nozzles are what are filling the cans up, and you'll see a slight overflow when they fill. And the reason for that is just before the cans are full, we give them a little burst of CO2. So again, we're packaging on top of a gas that protects the beer from the external environment. They're then having their lids applied, so the lids just fall on with gravity and are seamed under extremely high pressure. So you end up with a mechanical seal that's a medical grade, so nothing's getting in or out of there. And then you'll see them getting a wash and a blow dry, so all nice and clean, any residues are coming off. And then they hit the labelling machine. So we're going at a rate of roughly 550 to 600 cans an hour today, and we started this at just after 8 o'clock this morning.
So the last thing you made for me was lager. What's the difference between making that and making the lager?
Not a huge amount in terms of raw materials, so we've still got barley in there, but we've also got a component of that barley mix that's been roasted, and that's where your colour's coming from.
That's the colour.
So that's influenced in colour primarily. And unlike the lager, this is much more about the barley than any hop content. So your colour is coming from the barley, and the body of the beer as well is going to be much more kind of, we would say mouth feels a lot more full, a lot more texture going on. And it is a carbonated beer like the lager is, but you'll probably find that it's a bit more creamy on the palate rather than the lager, which is probably a bit more crisp and a bit more easygoing, I guess, in terms of lightness of flavour. But otherwise, most beers are very, very similar. It's just how you treat the grain at different points in the process.
What's in your mug?
The finest Nescafe Gold.
Right, happy days. Hope you all enjoy. Perfect timing. Here comes the forklift. You've no 2 a.m. We're strapped down to the moon. Let's make the journey home, and fingers crossed the mighty machine makes it. No video for a long time, but now I've got something to sell. I'm back. Give me the money!
Here comes the money!
Here we go! As you now know, I am a married man, and as a lot of you might know, wives are expensive. So please buy yourself a case of Bandit Stout. Remember, these are a 440ml can, bigger can. It'll be available in the farm shop as of right now, and also it's available online, link down below. There's a wee blurb on the side here, but I'll let you read that when it arrives at your doorstep. The Bandit Stout, inspired by the Bandit Mobile, the Defender. Enjoy. I like a stout, so I made a stout.